Welcome back to the call slip.
My name's Bryce.
And my name's Haley. We read Save Me by Mona Kasten. I really like the book. We'll do a quick summary on the back. They come from different worlds, and yet they are meant for each other. Money, glamour, luxury, power. Ruby Bell couldn't be less interested in these things if she tried. After being awarded a scholarship at one of England's most prestigious and expensive private schools, Maxton Hall, all she wants to do is keep her head down, work hard, and get accepted to Oxford. She keeps her distance from everyone, especially the arrogant, rich, and extremely handsome James Beaufort, ringleader of the school's party boys. When Ruby discovers a scandalous secret about the Beauforts, she suddenly's on James' radar. It only gets worse when James is forced to work with her to plan the school's annual gala. Though the more time they spend together, the more they realize they share much more than they thought. Falling for James Beaufort was never part of her plan, yet Ruby can't help but let her feelings sweep her away. However, James must make a decision for himself. Will he choose what's expected of him or what he feels for her? What do you rate this book?
I thought it was really good. I would probably give it like a 4.
I love this book. And I will say, we're not going to talk about it, but we did both watch the show as well.
Yeah, the Maxton Hall on Amazon Prime.
On Amazon Prime. I would probably give it like a 4.5. I loved the drama. I loved the romance, everything. It was great. So yeah, we should get started?
Yeah.
I will, spoilers ahead, if you don't want this ruined, come back. If you are not going to read the book, or you just want to watch or if you watch the show and want to potentially compare it to the book, go ahead and listen. All right. Do you have a summary other than the back of the book? I think it's a really good summary. It kind of tells you, it gets you engaged. It's kind of like wanting more.
Yeah, no, I think the only thing I would say is just that
there are a lot of characters in this book, and you really only like hear about obviously Ruby, James, and like
Lydia.
No, Lydia's not even on the back of the book. On the back here.
That's true.
And then you just of the school's party boys. So you hear of a party boys posse potentially, James and Ruby. So that's really all you know. I will say there's a lot of characters that are in this book. And you don't know a lot of their history other than what like they kind of tell you. But yeah.
I feel like the summary part where James and Ruby had to work together for the gala is pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't dive deep into their backgrounds, which obviously we do throughout the book. But
oh my gosh, why are we so bad at this?
We are a mess today. But I think it could definitely give you more. I just don't know what else more it would give, since there's so many things happening in the book.
Yeah.
But let's just dive into it.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
So we're introduced to Ruby, who wants to go to Oxford. She's at Maxton Hall because that's essentially going to help her get to Oxford to set her up for success.
Mm-hmm. She is at Maxton Hall. She's been there for a few years now. Yeah.
How long was she there?
She came here 2 years ago. So
okay.
Yeah. Where you learn that in the book. But so she has been at Maxton Hall for 3 years now. This is their last year before they go off to college. Sorry if we're not super up to date on the schooling system in England, London, all of that. So I know they do have a different bit of a schooling stuff. They do.
Wasn't this originally written in German?
Yeah, I'm so stupid. But they go to London.
Well, yeah, but the author is
German. Okay, well, I'm
is
stupid.
she?
Yeah, she is. I'm stupid.
Okay.
We don't know a lot about European schooling systems, so I know they have a different way than America. So I will say, if we get it wrong, sorry about that. But so she's in essentially her last year of school and is looking to go to Oxford.
And we open the story with immediately she's trying to get a reference
from one of her teachers.
Yeah, from one of her professors. And she goes to his office because she had an appointment with him to meet with him about the reference. And she sees Lydia making out with the professor. And Lydia and James are twins.
Yes.
The Beaufort twins.
The Beaufort twins, yeah.
And then the next bullet point that I kind of have is Ember, Ruby's sister, runs a plus-size fashion blog called The Bellbird.
Girl, you are so out of it. We meet Ruby first, and then we meet James, where James is drunk having a one-night stand, and he wakes up and he's like stumbling, getting clothes on, and Lydia comes to, I don't remember whose house they're at. One of their friends' house. Lydia comes over crying and is like, she knows, or like, I have a secret, and like she knows now. And he's like, who? And she says his name, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna hunt her down, essentially, and be like, if she knows this, like, I'm gonna try and like bribe her. We're gonna do something. She can't know this, and like, we're gonna just do something about that. And then we move back to Ruby. It goes back and forth between Ruby and James' narratives, so you're learning different things at different points.
And it does tell you at the beginning of the chapter.
Yes, it does tell you. And it does sometimes throughout the chapter goes back and forth between the two. But yes. So then we meet Ruby's sister, Ember.
Where she runs the plus-size fashion blog called The Bellbird. So Ruby likes to keep the school and home lives pretty separate. So
yeah, she doesn't talk about it at home.
Her friends don't know about her home life. Her family doesn't know about her school life. Lynn is her best friend. And Lynn used to be popular, but her dad had a scandal, and then they lost a lot of money, and they're friends. And now Lynn and Ruby are friends, and they both are organized, and they like manga. Manga?
Manga?
Manga? Manga?
Manga?
Manga?
Manga. There we go. So, in this time, we learn that James Beaufort and his family, they run the oldest and grandest menswear company in the country, which says a lot. He's got a lot of money, very powerful people, powerful places. And, you know, I feel like when that happens in a rich family or somebody learns a secret, they can buy him off.
So James does offer Ruby $40,000 to stay silent.
Yeah.
And we learn that Ruby's dad is actually in a wheelchair and their car isn't good currently.
Because she was like, that money could help us out in the in the long run.
And she ends up turning it down.
Like, I feel any sane person would. I don't know. Would you turn down $40,000 in cash?
I mean, if my dad was in a wheelchair and I needed a new car, like, I don't know.
It's just the type of person Ruby is. She's a very loyal person.
You make me look bad.
No, I think she's just, she can't be bribed. And don't look at me like that. Anyway.
I mean, you've got to think about it, though. Like, really, if you had all of these things going for you and you already knew that you weren't going to say anything, why not take the money? Like, she wasn't planning on revealing the secret to anybody anyway.
Yeah.
So why can't you two things at once?
Two things at once. And yeah, as they're talking about this, James had pulled Ruby aside and offered money, and then he's like, oh, well, if you don't want money, like, do you want something else? And he's essentially insinuating that, like, we'll have sex and you can be quiet because of that. And she's like, what kind of girl do you think I am? Like, that was
a little far.
That was a little far, but I hate to say it.
It's probably something that he obviously is used to.
He's used to. And that's, like, really sad.
Yeah. So we also find out that Ruby's mom is a baker, and her dad works at a Mexican restaurant.
James is very passionate about lacrosse.
Yes. He joined lacrosse as a joke. And he believes that the lacrosse team, when he joined it, were the rugby and the football rejects. But he ended up really enjoying it, and he convinced a bunch of his friends to also join. So now 6 years later, and he has 3 championships, James feels like he built the program into a success.
We do find out also that it's James's mother's side of the family that founded Beaufort. So his mom's great-great-great-grandfather was the one who found it. And, they have just a lot of money, influence, and power. And as the two of them are kind of conversing together of things that they want to, as James and Ruby are talking about, like, what can I do to, like, silence you and whatnot, Ruby's like, I really seriously can't afford to be seen with you. Like, she just wants to keep under the radar. She wants to go to Oxford. She really doesn't want anyone to know that they know each other. He's a big name in school. He's a big deal with the girls, everybody else at school, and it's just she's like, I don't want to deal with this.
So she goes about her regular life. She
Yeah.
works on the
Events team. She's the co-chair of the events team with her with Lynn.
So they put together that, and I think also the website.
The website, school dances, the blog, Maxton blog, where
So she was going to take pictures of the lacrosse game.
Yes.
And Alistair Ellington got kicked out of the game for
fighting one of the players.
Yes, he was fighting. And I don't think it said what it was for.
It was for something. I don't believe it says at that point, but it was for something having to do with a different player on the Maxton Hall team. And I think one of the players broke his nose or something, and he was like, it's just payback, essentially.
So when he gets kicked out of the game, he stands at the fence next to Ruby, and then they start talking.
Yes.
And after the game, James, I guess, saw them talking during the game, and he stops.
Alistair is helping, essentially, him write the article. He's taking photos on his camera. Alistair?
He's helping her write the article.
Yes, sorry. I was like, Alistair, boy. Alistair is helping Ruby write the article. He's taking photos on his camera because Ruby has like a really old camera. She really can't afford a new one. And he's kind of telling her like the play-by-plays from back and forth. You know, Ruby doesn't know a lot about sports. So
James saw them talking and taking pictures or whatever during the game. And then after the game, he stops Ruby and says, keep your hands off my friends, Ruby.
Not a nice boy.
I mean, you got to think about where he's coming from, though,
Exactly.
because he's worried that she's going to say something about his sister that's going to ruin their whole reputation.
Yeah. So we also find out that there's a back-to-school party happening at Maxton Hall.
Yes.
Where Ruby and Lynn and the whole event team, they've put this whole thing together.
It's for the parents and the students as like a welcome back party.
Yes.
And it was a disaster.
Yeah.
James specifically says that it was a disaster. He said that like the music was terrible, everything was just he was like
nobody was dancing
tacky
in the beginning, and like
he said
the
was
music
tacky.
was bad, the DJ was bad, and
so
during
he was just trying to shake things up. Oh, sorry. He said that the planning committee was trying to shake things up, but they obviously weren't brave enough to throw out all of the old traditions, and that there was no real dress code.
People were dressed in like the parents, some of them were dressed like really nice, and then the other people were in like jeans. So it was just, no one really knew what was going on.
And he keeps watching Ruby. And at this point, I wrote, James is watching her thinking it's just because he doesn't trust her.
Yeah.
So he keeps talking about in his own monologue of like not trusting her because she knows the secret about their family.
And like other people have used their secrets against them before.
But that his eye keeps being drawn to her.
So during the party, after James gets there, he sees that Ruby and Mr. Sutton is the teacher who was making out with Lydia, James's sister. James sees Ruby and Mr. Sutton in the corner. They're kind of talking about the party. They have a checklist that they're both looking at, but Mr. Sutton had a hand on her shoulder, and, you know, Alistair is just talking to James, and he's like, what are you doing, as he takes a picture of them, and he says, we're taking out a little insurance policy, which I'm like, okay, well, this is going to come back to bite someone in the butt with having this picture. You know, she saw something she shouldn't have, is what they say, and then it's not the greatest thing. And
so then I have that James has ruined the party with provocative dancers. So he invited a bunch of people. He talked to the DJ.
Essentially like strip club people.
Yeah. And they started pulling people onto the dance floor.
The lights went out.
They pulled Ruby onto the dance floor.
And like this guy started giving her a lap dance, and it just wasn't very great.
So is it the dean? Is that what they call them? Or the...
Yes, the dean, principal Lexington, they say. So
the principal then calls Ruby and James into his office, where he tells them that James is going to be kicked off the lacrosse team and that he has to help the party committee.
Working under supervision of Ruby.
Right. And he would do anything to play lacrosse for the last few months before the end of school. And he quoted, or this was in a quote from the book, "Before my whole life is ruined."
Yeah.
Which I thought was I felt like that was a little melodramatic because, you know, it's your last few months, but why is your life ruined as soon as you leave school?
Yeah. I'm also like, you're a millionaire, potentially billionaire. Like, why is your life ruined? You've pretty much got it all.
Right.
Is what you know from right now. And you're just like, okay, this is great. James doesn't show up for the first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to lacrosse practice instead. She emails Principal Lexington, and, obviously I don't know really what comes of that, because Ruby is then just goes home, and they start talking about proofreading her statement from Oxford. Ember has always wanted to go see Maxton Hall, but Ruby wants to keep her lives very separate, and as they're up late at night, Ruby has Ember read over her Oxford statement, and Ember was like, you can pay me back by letting me come to a Maxton Hall party. And Ruby's like, definitely likes to keep her two worlds separate. And she's like, no. She was like, you just really wouldn't. She says something like,
Is that not before the party?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have that. Yeah. I mean, they have parties all the time. It's like but yes. So next I have that Ruby's going to get some looks from the library. Then she goes to the meeting room for planning the Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess last year was the masked ball where it went okay. And James finally comes to this meeting where he suggests a Victorian theme. And everybody's on board for it. They really like it. So that's kind of what they go with. And after the meeting, Lydia and James are riding home together. And that's where Lydia says, like, she's really scared about Ruby going to tell the principal.
No, Lydia's scared that
Lydia's scared that Ruby's going to say something to the principal
about her and Sutton.
And Sutton. Graham, Mr. Sutton. Yeah.
And the last time she was this upset was 2 years ago, and it nearly destroyed their family, but it doesn't say what she was upset about.
Yeah, just that stuff happened, and that was it.
So I then have that they get home, and he's fighting with his dad about wanting to stay on the lacrosse team, where his dad hits him, and he makes a deal with his dad that while at Maxton Hall, he wants to be left out of the Beaufort business stuff. He wants to just kind of be a student and not have to deal with business.
Yeah.
And going to board meetings and all that. This is when we find out that Lynn's father left her mother for another woman. Yeah. And the woman was a con artist, and she married him, and then within a year, she took his entire fortune.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
And then we go back to James, and he, for some reason, is wondering about Ruby's family and her house and kind of all that makes Ruby Ruby, and he does not like that.
No. He doesn't like that he's thinking of her.
He thinks that she's pretty and more and more pretty each time he looks. And he thinks that it's hot when she tells him off. And he doesn't want her talking to his parents.
Yeah.
Which, was there something that happened that she ended up meeting them at
She
this point?
did. Not yet. So.
Was this about... No,
costumes.
this was at the... Yeah, this was at the Halloween meeting, right? He was thinking about this during the meeting?
So, yes, they had a meeting for the Halloween party, and, they were wondering how they could get, like, a good photo for the flyer and whatnot, and, like, what they could use, and if they had anything. And James, isn't really helping a lot, but he was able to get costumes at at the Beaufort.
Yeah, they have
the Beaufort place. They have like a whole archive.
Yeah, of all the historical costumes and not necessarily costumes, but all the historical
outfits.
Yeah, that's the word.
So James was able to secure looking at the costumes from his parents' collection, but they have to go to London to.
But he originally told her no.
He originally told her no. He was like, "No, we can't do that." And then he texts her, so he got her number somehow, and he was like, yeah, we can go. We're going to London tomorrow on a Saturday. So
she at one point made a joke about ice cream, and he bought it, and then he brought it on the ride to London.
As they're riding to London, yeah.
And they ate ice cream on the way to London.
So they get in the car. They're driving to London. They're talking about Oxford and Ruby's aspirations and whatnot. Not a lot. She's not giving him a lot, but just saying like, oh, it's always been my dream and whatnot. So once they get there.
No.
What?
Then they talk about rumors that go around the school about him.
Yes.
And supposedly there's a rumor that he broke a waterbed at one point at a party.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that it wasn't a waterbed, it was just a regular one.
Interesting to know.
Yep. And during this time, they're having some banter,
Mm-hmm.
and he mentions that he wanted to see her smile
Mm-hmm.
throughout this discussion.
Yes.
And, okay, the next stuff that I have is at the Beaufort, thing.
Yeah, they arrive and they're brought up to where, like, the dress and suit are waiting for them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So they get to the Beaufort. I don't even know what it is. Like not a gallery.
Like a
headquarters in London. And, this one guy, he brings them up to where, like, there's a dress and a suit waiting for them. And
he tries on the suit.
And then he's like, all right, your turn. And she's like, wait a second, why am I putting this on? Like,
well,
this is so expensive. And
yeah, and I wrote, she can't remember why she can't stand him.
yeah.
It's a green dress that she tries on, and then the guy that brought them up starts taking their pictures
Mm-hmm.
as like a couple, like standing together.
Yeah.
And like about to dance, those kind of poses.
Yes. Yeah, he, like, pretends to ask for her hand. They get close together. And then all of a sudden,
his parents show
James'
up.
parents show up. And James's parents are not the nicest.
His father berates him in front of her,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's escorted out of the building.
Yes. After her mother comments on how that dress doesn't fit her properly and it needs to be, like, taken out and this needs to be blah, blah, blah. And, like, it just wasn't the nicest. So it's off and James is like, we're finished. Percy will take you home. Percy is their driver. And that's pretty much it. Next time we see them is they show up at school. So yeah, and it's like that was the end of it. He was very blunt. His went from, like, joking around to, like, very serious of, like, not wanting to really show a lot of emotion in front of his parents. So the next day at school, everyone knows that they went to London together. For some reason, I don't know how, because they didn't really take any other pictures other than that. And, that day at school, they have another event meeting, and James tries to talk to her after the meeting because she completely ignores him because he was kind of mean to her. Not even mean, he was just, like, pretty much ignored her once his parents got there. So he tries to talk to her after the meeting and he says no. And
she says no.
Yes, sorry. Ruby says no, and she's like, I'm standing on the high ground. I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm over, like, I'm not doing this hot and cold thing with you, essentially. Later that night, after they don't talk after the meeting, Ruby and her family are having kind of like a Monday night. They're making some food, or they're making some type of jam, apple jam, and there's a knock at the door, and all of a sudden it's James. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, why is he here? So she goes out there, and it's about to start raining. And, James is like, I have the dress altered to fit you perfectly. And she's like, why did you have to bring it to my house? And he didn't really have an answer. And he asks if they can know each other from now on. Because she was essentially earlier was like,
I wish I
had never really known you. Yeah. And she does eventually accept his apology, and it starts pouring rain. So she gets the dress out of the rain, but she never invites him in. And they're kind of just standing there, staring at each other, which is kind of, like, really cute. But also, I don't know.
A little
awkward. And because she's like, I don't want you to see this side of my family yet. James hates not being able to play lacrosse. And when he sees he says he'd rather watch rugby than the lacrosse team, which is saying a lot for him. But when he sees Max and Hall win a game, he gets pretty mad and he starts storming off. And
where were they? He was at the game?
He was at the game. He was at the game off to the side. He was wearing his glasses as he was watching Ruby and Lynn, like, comment the game, because I guess they're about to write another blog. So James, after they win, he pretty much is just like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I don't care about the party that's happening, and storms off. But Ruby chases after him.
Yeah. And at some point in the conversation, they talk about the fact that she keeps a comb in her bag for her hair.
Mm-hmm.
And he noticed that she keeps the comb in there for these specific
her fringe bangs, they always fly everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked if he was okay. And he essentially in his internal monologue is still telling himself that he's just keeping an eye on her because of Lydia's secret.
Yeah. As Ruby and James are talking, Alistair comes over, reminding him of Cyril's party. Cyril's party. And he invites Ruby. And James is like, she doesn't want to be there. Like, no. And she was like, actually, no, I do want to come. So he says he can't keep his head straight when she's around. And I was like, what does that mean? That's kind of cute. And James offers to drive her. And then he's like, she says, you're going to drive me. And he said, no, Percy will drive us. So they go to the party together. Percy picks them up. They're driving to the party.
And then at the party, we find out that something happened between Ruby and Ren 2 years ago, and that's why she doesn't drink anymore.
It was Ruby had just started at Maxon Hall, and I guess it was one of like the first events and whatnot. So
and she ended up getting drunk,
mm-hmm.
and she ended up kissing Ren that night, and then realized like, oh no, this was a big mistake. Like he must have done this more than once.
Yeah. So Ren kind of corners her at the party because James and Alistair go get drinks, and Lydia saves her. Lydia comes in and is like, Ren, go away. Essentially, like, we're going to chat now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ruby kind of said something at the party that wasn't the nicest. She said something about, like, oh, I'm not going to tell your secret about
Sutton
kissing the teacher. And Lydia was kind of, like, taken aback by that. So she was like, James, go get me a drink. And then she's like, she was like, I don't trust you. Like, I don't trust you with this secret that you have. But apparently, not that James trusts her, but James, I guess, is okay with her at the moment, and like he doesn't really know what he feels towards her. But after Lydia leaves them, James says it's really hard for Lydia to trust anyone. And I mean, it makes sense if a few years ago, there's other things going on, but yeah.
So at some point during the party though, how did this happen?
Her and James are talking, and James says she doesn't belong at the party. And she was like, I can take care of myself. And I think that kind of makes her mad. And she tells him she doesn't want to ruin his night. And like she should act. Ruby says James should act normal. So they start dancing. And she was like, I have to pee. So Ruby goes to the bathroom, but she doesn't find the bathroom. She finds the library where she sees Alistair and Kesh having a little fun. And she's like, oh my gosh, why do I keep seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing? As she rushes out, realizing she's kind of been caught by them, she's like, I need to leave. And she goes to find James, but he's sitting by the pool with his friends. I just sorry. Yeah. So James is sitting by the pool with his friends, and she's very hesitant to go up to him.
But she does go up to him, and then I have the bare minimum.
Okay. I have more. So they're sitting there talking, and Ruby's kind of like, I kind of want to go home, or like, I'm ready to leave whenever. And he's just like, okay. And he like downs the rest of his beer. But Ren is like splashing water to Ruby, and like she gets really scared, and like all the air rushes out of her lungs. And then Cyril gets really close to her right after he got out of the pool. So he's like dripping wet. He only has his swim shorts on, and all of a sudden he pulls her into the pool. She flashes back to a memory, and she's envisioning herself in like this seawater. She can't swim. She's 8 years old again. She tries to breathe in, and all she gets is a lungs full of water. Everybody's standing around realizing that Ruby is not surfacing.
She clearly can't swim.
She can't swim. They're like, oh no, like someone needs to save her. James dives into the pool.
He pulls her out.
And Ruby's like, get me out of here. I need to leave now. So
he ends up like, he had towels in the car.
He had Percy get towels and clothes and meet her in the car.
And but there was already stuff. All of that stuff was already in the trunk of the car.
Yeah. So they're sitting there, and James is helping her dry off and everything, and
he puts the hoodie over her
and takes off her button-up blouse
underneath the hoodie.
Yeah.
And then he ends up taking her home, where she falls asleep in the car on the way home. And Percy, is that where Percy tells him, like, don't mess this up?
Yeah. But
that was cute. I like
that
Percy.
Was really cute. I like Percy. Percy's a good egg.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He's a good one. He's just, I think, he's been their driver for a while. I think we learn, and he's known them forever. Party was Friday night after they won the game. Lynn visits her as her and her sister are baking, and she's like, Lynn has really never visited my house, but it is what it is. She asks about the party because she sees a picture on Instagram of James carrying someone soaking wet.
I mean, she asked if it was her. Lynn asked
you
if
really can't see.
Lynn asked if it was Ruby.
And you really can't see a face. But she was like, yeah, it is. And they eat cookies. Or they finish making cookies, then they eat cookies, and they were like, text James. And they flirt while they watch movies and eat cookies over text message.
And at some point, Lynn must have said something that made Ruby question this, but I wrote that Ruby wonders if Lynn and Cyril are a thing. And Cyril is the person who threw her in the pool.
Because she did say that. She was like, oh yeah, Cyril threw me in the pool. And she was like, she said something
Did she like defend him?
Yeah, or maybe she was like, oh, I'll talk to him about it or something. I don't remember exactly what.
It was really suspicious for someone who's not in that friend group.
The next morning, what I have is the next Monday morning, James is waiting for her at the bus stop, and they walk into school together, which I think is really cute.
Yeah, that's cute.
That is cute. And they're talking about their weekend, and that is when Ruby learns that James and Lydia's Aunt Ophelia is visiting, and her dad does not like her.
And that the company actually belongs to his mother and Ophelia.
Yes. But Ophelia's more of just like a figure.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really have a lot of say.
And that when Mortimer, their dad, married their mom, he came in and he changed a bunch of stuff with the company.
Yeah. I just wrote this for myself, and I was like, Ruby knows so much about like that group of people, like the Beauforts and their friends, that like she could honestly like take them down if she really wanted. Not that like they couldn't take her down too, but she knows so much. And who are they really going to believe? People, her with no proof, or, but I'm like, she has all this information. She could easily like.
I do wonder if maybe they were telling her things, or James was telling her things to see if any of it would get out. Because, I mean, at this point, he still doesn't really trust her.
But he likes her.
He doesn't know that yet.
He doesn't know that yet. But we know, as the reader, we know that. So I have that day, Lydia joins them for lunch and apologizes for her friends. And she comes to check in to see how Ruby is doing. Because I think she just feels really bad that, like, she got thrown into the pool. Nobody realized that she couldn't swim. Yeah. And I was like, that's kind of really nice of her. Especially when Lydia is so hard to trust. It takes her so much to trust people. I'm just watching the wind outside. I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. Okay. So sorry. You go.
So I think Kesh stops Ruby to talk to her at some point to talk about what she saw at the party. And he mentions that he doesn't want anyone to know that he actually likes Alistair.
Yeah.
Because Alistair doesn't want anyone to know about them being a thing.
And I thought it was the other way around, where Alistair talks to Ruby about not telling.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So Alistair talks to Ruby at some point about what she saw at the party between him and Kesh. And Alistair mentions that Kesh doesn't want anyone to know about them.
Because he's not out to anybody.
Right. I don't think...
Alistair is out, and he's very open about
But is he out to everyone, or is it just to James or his friends?
No, Alistair, everybody knows. And, he's on, dating profiles and everything, but Kesh is not. And I don't even know if any of it other than Alistair knows about Kesh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And James has to know, because he knows about their relationship.
That's true.
Because Alistair talks to him about it. Alistair talks about how it hurts his feelings that Kesh doesn't want anyone to know about them. He confides in Ruby about that.
Yeah. So later that day at school, they have the invitations up, where on the invitation is James and Ruby when they were dressed.
And she didn't know that was going to happen.
She didn't know that was going to happen. All of a sudden, that photo came up, and then she was like, what? And that is going everywhere.
Honestly, I'd be
it's on
so
the
mad.
invitation. It's on the flyers. It's everywhere. I wouldn't want that. I would want to know at least. Because all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, your photo's everywhere. And I'm just like...
And she's been trying to keep a low profile all of these years. And now, all of a sudden, she's on the poster for one of their galas.
I know.
I'd be mad. You're nasty. I'd be mad.
Yeah, I'd be mad too. But
I didn't even get a warning.
No. All of a sudden it's like, oh, this is it. And everybody's like, oh my God, it's amazing.
It's so beautiful.
So beautiful. This is going everywhere.
Like, I know I'm beautiful, but I could have used a warning.
Yeah. And then after the meeting, he walks her to the bus stop, which I thought was really cute. He met her at this day. And then we figure out that it's her birthday.
Was it that day?
The next weekend. That weekend, it was her birthday.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, Saturday is her birthday. And her family comes, and they all have presents. Yeah, her family comes. Her family comes in. Like, her aunt and uncle and cousin all come, and they all get presents. And then all of a sudden, there's this box from the post where they're like, we don't know who it's from. There's no, like, return address. And in it is a beautifully embroidered bag with Ruby's initials on it. And the bag is called the James.
Did you know that yet?
No, she doesn't. But
she just knows that it's.
I just think it's from James. It's a bag. It's a Beaufort bag.
Yeah.
Beaufort bag
that has her initials embroidered on it. Does she know that it's a Beaufort bag, or does she just
because
know? Okay.
she realizes it's a card from James.
Okay.
There's a card from James in there. Yes.
And then she decides then, after getting this bag, that she wants to convince the principal to let him off early so that he can go back to playing lacrosse.
Because that's what he loves to do. But for her birthday, she goes to a picnic with her family. They eat cake and whatnot. And then that night, she calls James.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking back and forth, and he was like, "Oh, do you like it? The bag is called the James." And I guess there's a bag named after each member of the family. There's the Lydia, the Mortimer, and I don't remember their mom's name. So they're talking on the phone, and James admits that he doesn't want to take over the company at all. And that's kind of like a big serious thing, because he's been primed for his entire life, like, to be taking over the company.
Doesn't he mention that it feels like a trap or something?
She asks him, what do you want to do then? What do you want to do then? And I guess nobody's really asked him that in a while, but she's like, this is really important, but he doesn't know how to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, he feels like his whole life's been planned out, so what does it matter what he wants to do?
Mm-hmm. All he's known is that he's going to be taking over as Beaufort's next CEO, whatever it is that his dad is. And
which I think is really interesting because, I mean, the mom owns the company, and it's her and the sister, so you would think that Lydia would be the next in line.
And Lydia says she loves the company, and she wants to do that, and she wants to go to business school, and she wants to do all of that,
and she wants to take over the company.
But, like, no.
So
their dad is like, no. Mm-hmm. But he says it doesn't look like he'll ever get the chance to figure out what he wants to do for himself. It's always been Maxton Hall, Oxford, and then the Beauforts.
Yeah, he said some days it feels like it's crushing me so that I can't breathe.
Yeah. I think that's really sad. His whole life has essentially been planned out for him. And
that expectation that everybody around him has for him, and he's only 18.
Yeah. I think it's really sweet, though, that they essentially are on the phone the entire night, and like they're just at that one point sleeping on the phone, and they talk about pretty much everything: favorite movies, favorite books, favorite music. And it's really sweet that just happens, and there's someone that it's somewhere that he can lift the burden for a little while that he has on his shoulders.
Yeah.
The next day at school, Ruby asks Principal Lexington to lift James' suspension. And he does agree, but not until after the Halloween party. He wants to get through it first to have that be really James' only focus, and then they're good.
I do want to point out, though, that when he was originally kicked off the lacrosse team, James's dad was on board with this because the principal called his dad before, I guess, having this whole discussion with James. So his dad was totally fine with him getting kicked off the lacrosse team.
I think maybe his dad was like, oh, if he's off lacrosse, he'll focus more on the company or something.
Probably.
But that did not happen. Now I have that the Halloween party is here. Everyone's going. It's going well. James and his friends arrive. James and Ruby dance. She tells him while they're dancing that Lexi, that's his nickname,
The principal.
the principal, is letting him back into lacrosse and just, after the party. And he's like ecstatic. They're dancing and whatnot. All of a sudden the lights go out and Ruby kind of thinks like him and his friends are up to it again. And he's like, wow, is that really what you think of me? But they quickly go get the power box and
Because of course he knows where
exactly where the breaker
is.
box is.
Weird,
yeah. But so they're in the cellar, they're walking around, they're looking at each other, and he kisses her.
Wait, I have something before that.
Ooh.
I wrote down a quote.
Okay.
Then his turquoise eyes filled with an emotion I've seen before but couldn't place, and now I know what it is. Yearning.
Adorable. I think their romance is adorable. I rooting for them all the time, all the way.
Yeah, me too.
It's so, I mean, like, she's like so cute, and he's, I mean, like, I get it, he's probably like this stuck up arrogant rich boy, but I'm also just like, I love you.
But I have this like soft spot for someone who actually seems to care about him and not for his money or anything. Like, she actually got to know him and she likes him.
Yes.
Even though he was really rude to her in the beginning.
I know.
He thought that all she wanted from him was a
money,
bribe.
Money or sex.
Right.
Yeah.
And she, she got to know him and then she actually cares about him. And I don't think he probably sees that too often outside of maybe his mom and his sister.
I don't know. I feel we don't learn a lot about his mom, but I don't know if I really like his mom. I don't know how I feel about her because she's the one who is like, that dress does not fit you, Ruby. Like,
Oh, yeah, she was also pretty mean. But she seems to be nice to her kids.
Yes. Whereas Mortimer is like...
He's kind of crap all around.
Yeah.
To everybody.
So then they kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I love it. But...
Mortimer ruins the moment.
He catches them kissing. And he's like, your mother's looking for you. And James is like, okay, I'll be there in a few minutes. And he's like, now. So they leave. And yeah.
What do you have?
Go ahead.
I have that his parents don't want him around Ruby.
No.
His dad hit him again.
Yes, because they argue the entire way driving home. All four of them ride home together and they're arguing. And I think Lydia goes, is she really worth it? And they get out and Mortimer hits James.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really sad that, like, your parents just can't be happy for you when you are... Not that he's in love with her, but, like, he clearly likes this girl.
Yeah, but then he goes to a party after his dad he goes over to one of his friends' houses.
Ren's house.
Ren's house.
Yeah.
He usually ends up at Ren's house after he's had a fight with his dad and something bad has happened. Yeah. And he, at this point, is trying to talk himself out of liking Ruby with the help of his friends.
We don't fit. He's saying, like, they don't fit together and...
Yeah, and
she doesn't know what.
He's really just trying to convince himself of it, but of course his friends are helping try to convince him of
what
this.
Great friends you have.
Yeah. And then James goes to ignoring her now.
Yes, Ruby was very nervous to go back to school the next day because she doesn't know, like, how she should act in front of James. Like, should she walk up and be like, hi, whatnot? And she doesn't see James until really later in the day, and he completely ignores her. He walks right by her. He talks to the people behind her. I guess whoever was standing, and he just ignores her.
Yeah, and from his perspective, he wants her to believe that he never cared about her.
Yeah.
And
I think in that way, he's kind of like, if I never cared about her, then my parents won't be interested in ruining her life. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking while I was reading this. And I'm like, I guess it makes sense because money talks and rich people can do some crazy things.
Yeah.
I do have that Lydia noticed her at first. As James walked by her, Lydia was like the last to leave the hallway, and Lydia definitely wants to say something, but she kind of decides against it and just walks away as well. Mm-hmm. And I kind of, I mean,
that just shows that Lydia's starting to trust her too.
Yeah. But Ruby's like, what did I do wrong? Like, I don't really know what's happened. He's able to go back to lacrosse now, essentially. He helped with this one thing, and now it's just like, okay, well, we're pretty much done.
Right.
Pretty much run it because Ruby's in a daze and she really is just like, I don't know what I did wrong. And she tells Lynn, hey, are you okay if I leave? Like, I don't really know what's happened. Like, I don't really feel good. So she's like, yeah, go ahead. And instead of like going home to the bus stop, she stops by the lacrosse team. And he's thinking, sitting there,
He's about to get an earful.
he's about to get an earful, which is what this. I had to like bookmark the entire page in this book. I'm not gonna read it all, but she was just like what happened? Like, she like walks up to him, and I think somebody says like, "Oh, your Beaufort, your girlfriend's here," and he like goes over to her, and he's like sweaty, and you know they're puffing around from. So he's sweaty from practice. He walks up to her and she's like, can you take off your helmet so we can like talk about this? And she's just like, what's wrong with you? And he's just like acting like nonchalant, like, what do you mean? Why is anything wrong? And he's like, why are you acting like this? And stop being an idiot. Tell me why you're ignoring me. And then she's like, was this just all part of your plan? Like to get back on the team?
See, that's what I was thinking this whole time. That, like, not necessarily that he just dropped her because he just wanted to get back on the team. Because I do think that he did care for her in some way. But I did wonder if maybe at some point, like, he did kind of use her a little bit.
Yeah. And he says, you kissed me. She's, you know, they're just having this whole argument by the side of the field. And she's just like, what's wrong with you? And you know, you could have just told me the kiss was a mistake. And he goes, fine, I'll tell you that now. We had a nice time, but things need to go back to the old way. And I think I'm just like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, what are you doing, sir? You love her. You don't know it yet, but you love her. And, you know, they're just like destroying this entire thing. And I mean, I get it. He's trying to save her from the heartbreak of the inevitable, but.
The inevitable?
Who knows? You know, I just think it's not that I don't want them to work, but I don't think they're from two different worlds. And I know people say that all the time. You know, you've got a rich person, and not that she's poor, but like she doesn't have a lot of money. She doesn't come from a lot. She has a lot in her heart, and her family means a lot to her. But like, rich people don't marry poor people normally. And I'm not saying that to be mean.
Because, you know, you're so rich.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm so rich. But, like, it's just normal. They stay within the same circle because if you let an outsider in, things happen. And
you mean like Lynn's dad?
Yeah.
But I don't think Ruby's a con artist.
No, she's not.
I do think that she brings a very different perspective to James that I don't think ever realized was possible for him.
Yeah.
So I have that she then sent the bag back after their argument.
Yep.
And she left a note in it. So he had originally sent a happy birthday note that she had pinned to her corkboard, I guess, above her desk.
Yes.
And she wrote on it a pretty rude 2 words. It
was not rude. It was not rude. It was justified.
Yes, it was justified.
Said, James, blank, blank, Ruby.
No, James, blank you, Ruby.
Yeah. And, I mean, it makes sense.
I do have, though, that he kept that note in his wallet.
Mm-hmm. And he pulled it out while him and Lydia were talking.
Yeah.
And
he's like playing with it.
He's playing with it. And she's like, what is that? And, you know, then Lydia starts talking about how her and Graham Sutton met.
Yeah, which was 2 years ago after breaking up with the boyfriend who was actually a reporter. Who she had this long relationship with, and he ended up actually just using her to get a bunch of information about their family, where there was a bunch of news stories being leaked about them after they broke up, and it really did a lot of damage to their reputation. And then my next bullet point is James is down bad.
They're miserable. They both are.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. But they're both down, and all of a sudden, Ruby wakes up one morning, and she's got an interview to Oxford.
Yep.
So she's ecstatic now. She's like, oh my gosh, I have to prepare. Like, I've got to...
Her family's so excited for her.
And they go to, it's like that weekend they have to go there. She's supposed to arrive Sunday. Monday, Tuesdays are the interviews and whatnot. And so they get there. She gets her room assignment. She's walking up the stairs. She's like trying to figure out, and all of a sudden she hears somebody come up from behind her, and she turns around and James is there. And they like stare at each other for a second, and then he just like goes to his room, and she's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Like, she can't get away from him.
I know, she can't get away
so
from
their
him.
rooms are across the landing from one another, but it doesn't say like how many rooms are on that floor or whatever, but they're just like right across the hall from one another.
So time goes on.
They go through the interviews.
Well, no, I have something written, which I wrote down, green sticky note in here. My stickies. So right before Ruby's first interview.
My stickies.
My sticky note. I'm so going to annotate this book later.
My stickies. Oh, you're going to write in it?
I am. I'm sorry. She got so mad
That's
at me
a crime.
No, it's not.
That is a crime. Why would you write in the perfectly good book? What did it do to you? Nothing.
But I love annotating. And now everybody else knows that I do it. Yes, I'm writing in the book. I'm sorry. Anyway,
that's a crime.
It's a passionate crime.
No, it is not.
So her name gets called, and she's walking up, and she's like really like her hand. She's really clammy. She's really nervous for her first interview. And as she's passing James, he grabs her hand, or he grabs her wrist, and he just like his thumb strokes the sensitive skin, and he just whispers "good luck" and lets him go. And I'm just like, he knows how nervous she is, that he's just like, "You got this." And I'm just like, stop, that is so cute. When like he's clearly,
but he's also the one who started this whole thing. So I honestly, in this moment, I don't want to feel bad for him, but I still do a little bit, because he's the one who decided to brush all this off, and now she feels like he's playing with her emotions.
I just think it's so cute, and my heart swooned.
I was honestly annoyed. I was mad. I'm like, why would you? Don't touch me. You're the one who decided that you didn't want to have anything to do with me.
If I were her, I would have kissed him.
I probably would have fought him.
You would have like, get off of me. Give my hand back.
They're like, actually, we don't want to interview you for Oxford. Thanks, though.
Actually, we're going to let you go now.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming. You can go home.
Yeah. So her first interview goes really well. And she sneaks into a lecture. She meets some other candidates at a bar later on, where James and his friends are also there. When she tries beer, and she's like, "I don't like this. I'm going to go get a Coke." And as she's getting a Coke, Lydia runs past her into the bathroom. And, she kind of is like watching the door, and Lydia hasn't returned after a little while.
Yeah, she goes back to her table after getting her drink, and then she realizes that Lydia still hasn't come out, so she decides to go check on her.
And Lydia's puking in the toilet. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, did you really have like that much to drink? Like
what happened?
Like, what can I do to help you?" And she's probably she's probably thinking, Lydia really doesn't want me here, but I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm going to help you. Mm-hmm. So
Lydia then tells Ruby that she's 12 weeks pregnant. And she told Ruby because James trusts her and that he never trusts anyone. Mm-hmm. So she feels like she can trust her with this secret.
Mm-hmm. She knows a lot of secret about Lydia.
She knows a lot about all of him and his friends.
I know.
And they just keep giving them to her.
I know. She's like, "I'm pregnant. Oh, here's another secret."
Yeah.
We're gay. Like, what do we do?
Did she tell her who the baby's dad was? Or is that just implied?
I'm assuming she knows. I think she does say.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know.
I mean, is it just kind of implied that it's the professor's?
Knows.
Yeah, I mean, she does know the secret about her and the professor, but... Mm-hmm. I mean, she doesn't know what else she does in her free time.
She doesn't know what else she does in her free time. She does say, "Is it?" And Lydia does nod.
Okay, so it is implied that it is Professor
Mr.
Sutton's.
Yeah. Yeah.
She feels like she doesn't do as well on the second interview the next day.
The second interview doesn't go well for Ruby. They ask her like this weird question, and she thinks she bombs it. So after that, she sees people, and she goes on like a tour or something, and they meet up with some people, and she really just like doesn't think she does well.
And they end up back in a common area where a bunch of the candidates are
able to ask
questions
to students.
Yeah, and that's when she kind of starts an argument with James because he makes a comment under his breath, and she kind of just goes into it.
She was like, am I not good enough because your parents want something else for you?
Yeah, she's just airing out all the dirty laundry in front of all the candidates.
And then she kind of jumps up and pretty much leaves right away. And she's like, I don't want this to happen. Yeah.
But he follows her.
Ugh, he followed. Yes.
If he hadn't followed her, I would have been even more mad at him.
I would have very upset. They're still arguing in the hallway as they're going back up to their room, and all of a sudden, she doesn't want him to cry in front of she doesn't want to cry in front of him, and he's like, that's not true, like, you are good enough for me. It's like, I'm not good enough for you, essentially. And he's like, it's not true. And all of a sudden he just like kisses her. What do you got?
I wrote down a quote.
Okay.
From James.
Oh, okay.
It says, I've belonged to you since you threw my money back in my face.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. Love it.
That sounded so fake. Oh, okay.
So they kiss. They have a little fun that night. I'm not saying what's going on.
No, I forgot about that, but that is my next point.
Yeah, that was.
But they also
I do have that quote.
They do spend the night talking.
They do spend the night talking,
like most of the night.
Yeah.
And then they go back home from Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
James then finds out that his mother had a stroke and that she passed away on Monday afternoon. Yeah. But it's now Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So his dad did not tell him from Monday night when this happened all the way till Wednesday when he's coming home.
Because he didn't want to ruin their interviews with Oxford. When he literally could just be paying to get into Oxford. I'm like...
His mom's been dead for 2 days. And he didn't even know about it.
I'd be furious.
I would too.
Mm-hmm. Which he is. He attacks his father.
And then he runs to Cyril's house and begins doing drugs and drinking and just kind of trying to lose himself
in this. And nobody can find him. And so Lydia shows up at Ruby's house and is like, hey, have you seen James?
Mm-hmm. Because no one knows where he is yet.
Yeah. And
doesn't Lydia then get a call from Cyril?
Get a call from Cyril or Ren, someone that's saying like, oh, he's over here. So they rush over there and
Lydia and Ruby.
Lydia.
Lydia
and Ruby rush over to their house, and they're like, he's totally out of it. He's been like this all afternoon, and Ruby's just like, this is not my James. This wasn't the guy he was a few months ago.
I mean, she comes in and she sees him making out with Elaine, who is someone that is like a family friend of theirs. She's a sister of Alistair.
Sister of Alistair, yeah. And, it also says he leans over the table, presses his finger to one nostril, and inhales a white substance with the other. My mouth drops open. Did he just? And, she gets in the pool.
He gets in the pool.
He gets in the pool with Elaine, and they're just like, I don't know what they're doing in the pool, but something happens, and Lydia's just like...
Lydia tells Ruby that James needs her, but Ruby is just like, I can't do this. I can't deal with this, and she leaves him there at the party.
Yeah, Lydia's like, he needs you right now more than ever,
But at this point, Ruby doesn't know that they've lost their mother.
No. Which is really sad, but...
Yeah. I feel like she would have made a different decision, I think, if she had known that.
Like, oh, he's just acting out because of this, and...
But I think at the time, obviously she doesn't know that it's his mother that's passed away, so she's just assuming, oh, he's just acting out again. Like, he's just mad about something.
And I will say, what Cyril said into Ruby's ear...
I don't remember. What was it?
So he's sitting there and they're like kissing, or Ruby is standing there watching Elaine and James just like kiss each other and whatnot. And all of a sudden he comes over, or Cyril comes over to Ruby and goes, now that's the James Beaufort I know.
Yeah, because this whole time they've
been against it in the entire time.
Yeah, because they've been saying that James changed, he's different now, and that's why his friends were trying to help him talk talk himself out of liking her is because
Yeah.
they don't like who he has become when Ruby came into his life.
Yeah. What bad friends.
Yeah. Especially considering that I feel like from as the reader's standpoint, it really does look like Ruby has been a good not influence, but
just a good person. She isn't
just
like
a
you
good
just know that
person
she's a good person
in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Making him really think about maybe the things that he wants with his life and not feeling so suppressed by, his parents' decision for what they want him to do with his life.
Yeah.
And I mean, she seems to genuinely make him happy.
Yeah. I will say when Ruby and James are over at Oxford still before they kind of learn everything, they write a list for James to do. I'd like a to-do list of things that he's wanted to do, but he really never either has the time and whatnot. So there are 5 things on this to-do list. The first one is travel to Bangkok. So he's always wanted to go there. And it's really just like anything. The next one is keep playing lacrosse because it's one of his favorite things. 3 is read more and other genres in general. He wants to learn more.
He's interested in the genre that is Ruby's favorite, and he doesn't know anything about it. So I think that was part of that bullet point.
Number 4 is find a fulfilling career. So he knows that taking over the family's business isn't really going to be what he wants, and he hopes that maybe eventually down the line that something can happen. And number 5, he just writes Ruby because he says, if you're with me, I feel as I can do anything.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that at some point, Lydia is going to be able to take over the company, or whether that's like when the dad gives it over to them or to James can at some point sign it over to Lydia.
Yeah.
Because at some point, like his dad's going to have to give it up, whether that's because he's aging out or because, he dies.
I feel like at that point, he'll be just like, Lydia, here you go.
Yeah, he can just do whatever. But, I mean, obviously he doesn't want to wait around for either of those things.
No.
Because likely it won't be for a while that those things happen. So I can understand him feeling trapped in this decision of them to want him to take it over. It just really sucks that Lydia seems to be the one who wants it, and she's good at it.
I know. I feel really bad. Do you have a favorite character?
That's a hard one.
I feel like they're all so different and they all come from, like, we learn so much about at least, like, James, Lydia, Ruby, and even just, like, a little bit about Ruby's family, but enough to be like, oh, that's, like, a really good family.
They're really supportive.
Yes, really supportive. There's a good head on their shoulders, as some people would say it, and they're all just like super really nice, and they just want what's the best for Ruby and her parents and their other, and Ember. But I think I really love Lydia too. I feel like she's severely misunderstood.
Yeah, I think Lydia has a lot of depth to her that we haven't seen yet. I think she's got a lot going on in her life that, it doesn't touch on really because, I mean, she met Sutton 2 years ago outside of school.
When he was just like when he was in Oxford himself.
Right. He was a student at Oxford in graduate school, I believe. And they ended up meeting online, and they met up at a coffee shop, and, they really hit it off. And then she finds out later that he's working at the school, and that's kind of
I think he gets like an interim position.
Yeah, but that's when they decided to cut it off because he was like, I can't have a relationship with a student.
Yeah.
But
which makes sense, like.
And then I think maybe they weren't strong in that decision at some point.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's a lot to Lydia's character that we haven't seen yet, and I think she's a strong character too.
It'll be interesting to watch her grow.
Yeah.
So there are 3 books in this series. This is just the first book, but I'm excited to read the second and the third.
I will say it seems, even though we didn't really discuss the TV show, it was really close to this.
Yeah, there were a few things that I think were a little off, but it did really well following the storyline.
I mean, they took a whole season to make this out of the first book, was the whole first season.
Yeah.
So I think that was really well done, especially for, an Amazon
Yeah. Prime, yeah.
show.
Do you have a least favorite character?
Ooh.
It's got to be one of James's friends for me.
Yeah.
I don't know who.
No.
I feel bad. Like, actually, I think I like Alistair.
I have one.
Okay.
It's Mortimer. He's the worst.
Honestly, he's the evil one. Yeah. He's the villain in the story.
But if I had to pick one of his friends, it'd probably be
Ren.
Ooh, Ren or Cyril.
Mm-hmm. Ren is the one I feel like who always has the drugs and always has the parties at his house where like then James gets really like bad in the head and messed up, and it's just not the greatest.
But Alistair, I think he's got good intentions. I think he's a good kid.
I think like Alistair and James are like the best, like they're the closest out of the rest of them.
I thought he was really close to Cyril.
I think that he's really close with all of them.
Oh, probably.
To be honest, yeah. And they're all rich, so it's like it's not like they need.
Their families have all known each other for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Ren is not my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like him,
but I think the worst person is Mortimer. Love Percy,
hands down. Mortimer's the worst. Yo, Percy, he's good.
Oh, yeah, he's good though.
He's good.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wish that we had more Percy moments throughout the book because I do like his character, and it would be cool to know more about him and the fact that he's worked for this family for so long. And
maybe we'll learn more in the second book.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah.
And why he's worked for the family for so long. Because, I mean, it can't be
because of Mortimer.
It can't be because of Mortimer, no.
Maybe it's the kids, you know?
Oh,
maybe
yeah. I mean, he did watch them grow up, too. So maybe he feels some sense of...
You know how a lot of time there's, like, a nanny that essentially just watches them grow up, and they're, like, that's, like, their second mom, kind of, essentially.
Yeah.
Second parent. Yeah.
I mean, he has been driving him around everywhere. I don't even think James has a license.
I don't know. I don't know. Because he did say, like, can you drive? And he's like, Percy, I'll drive.
Yeah. He kind of dodges the question.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if he does, but yeah. I'm excited to also see, we don't learn a lot about her other than Mortimer hates her, so I already like her, but Aunt Ophelia.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how I feel about her yet. I don't have any
I don't really have
strong feelings yet.
Yeah.
I am curious because obviously if Mortimer doesn't like her, then I'm more apt to like her. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. There's got to be some tea there that we don't know about yet.
My thing is, if your or like your great grandfather or whatever started this business, why aren't you more involved with it? Why are you more of just like a figurehead versus like...
I think it said that she didn't like it. She didn't like being involved with it.
I must have kind of missed that, or it just didn't retain.
She was okay with James's mom doing most of it and like running it. But for some reason, when she married Mortimer
kind of took over.
He took over and started doing a bunch of stuff and making a bunch of plans.
Yeah.
Which personally I don't think is okay because it's not his company.
No.
But he felt like she wasn't doing justice by the company, so he wanted to make a bunch of changes, which he did as soon as they married.
Yeah.
Which makes me question whether he really wanted her or if he just wanted the company.
Yeah, we don't have a big background on Mortimer.
Honestly, I don't want it.
Yeah. I think maybe potentially Mortimer's parents were abusive to him, and maybe he's just like, it's like, you know, you follow suit.
I guess.
I know you shouldn't. But
yeah, you shouldn't.
I don't think he probably...
You should seek help. Mortimer needs help.
I just don't think he knows any better.
He probably doesn't.
And, you know, now he's taking it out on his children, which isn't the nicest.
I still just don't...
like him.
I don't like him. I don't really want to give him a pass, even though you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at a certain point, you should do some reflecting and maybe think about your actions. Maybe he needs to be in timeout for a little while. You know?
Maybe. Yeah.
But also, you know, it doesn't really... You don't see a whole lot of him or his feelings around his wife passing away.
No. Just like, they like get home from Oxford and he's like, sit down. Your mother passed away.
Yeah, then the kids, like...
They freak out, obviously. Like, Lydia starts crying. James goes off the wall and starts back into drugs, but yeah.
Yeah, but it just shows that he didn't have any emotion around it when he told them that. And I think that's when James like hits him, right? So I am curious as to why he had no emotion around his wife dying. Do you think he did it?
I think he did it, but I just can't Prove it. It's a Taylor Swift song.
Mm.
Anyway, if you liked this, come back. If you didn't, come back. If you watched the show and you don't want to read the book, I hope you liked this synopsis of this book. And hopefully we will read the sequel to it and the whole trilogy. So we'll get it done.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Oh, where can they find us?
Instagram. Our Instagram, we post when we release a story or release a podcast or an episode. Our Instagram, at the call slip. We have an email if you want to email us with suggestions of books or books that you like, random authors, indie authors, anything that you would want to suggest to us. And you can find us on Spotify and YouTube at the call slip. Thanks.
See you next time.